This little guy came in, and he actually came in at the same time as Keith and Calvin, and so we had a bunch of new guys that came in. But I think out of all of the new ones that came in at that time, the word is tenacious. I think this guy took on things that, you know, his backpack was this tall. He was this tall, as you can see, you know, once you get going in some of the other pictures. And so I was looking back at camping, trying to remember what everybody did, work-wise, camping-wise, service-wise, and everything. And the reality is, from 2011, when he came in March, to basically September 2016, I think he went on every camp out that we had. Every month there was an activity, and he was on it. And he was there, kind of quiet, not anybody that is, you know, causing trouble, or he was doing the leading, but he just did it. And some of the ones were pretty ambitious activities that he actually did. I mean, he did all the Yosemite hikes, Glacial, you know, Half Dome, all of these, which, you know, I didn't do, but he was, when there was a group of guys going backpacking and everything, he was one. And Dad went on the other one. I found out later Dad has, you know, climbed Whitney and a few other things. So it's kind of in the blood. But the one thing that I remember showing his tenaciousness is a couple times I tried playing basketball with him. He wouldn't let me beat him. The one time that I did beat him was on the football field up at High Sierra when I intercepted a ball from him. Never lived that one down. So I think that activity, that desire that he had in scouting in his whole career was the reason that he is where he is right now. When it came to the OA, all the guys, the three that came in at that time basically joined OA together and have moved up the ladder. They became the ceremonies team. And if you ask them, how many ceremonies did you do in that period of time, I think it's in the hundreds. And if it wasn't for those guys, there wouldn't have been any ceremonies for about a 3-year period. And the word burnout, I think, is kind of a good phrase for them, but they hung with it and made the ceremonies team something to live up to, and I'm hoping that they can get that going again, because they went to Eagle ceremonies, they went to Cup graduations, crossovers, you name it, these guys did it, and it was a well-deserved thank you for all that effort that went into that program. So the other thing is, in our troop, a lot of guys don't know, but we had a Ed Sheldon Award that we give, which is basically an accumulation of all the points that the kids earn for rank advancement, backpack, any activities that they do, and it leads up to Scout of the Year. And one of the years, Anuj got Scout of the Year for all of his activities, and basically most of the time with all the OA, and we actually had to separate out the OA from the other guys because it was getting unfair that the OA guys were taking up all the points. So we had an OA plus so that everybody else could be fair on getting the Ed Sheldon Award. But he was one of the guys that helped set that program and prove to the other guys what scouting's about. Scouting is giving and service projects and doing all the things that basically the Eagle Charge set upon him, and did a real good job on that. So I want to say thank you, and the reflection of you being in the troop and helping out with all the young guys was greatly appreciated. And you still got one more year in high school, so you're not going anywhere. So I expect to see you now, right? Maybe. That's a wrong answer. But anyway, he did a great job on everything that we did, and it was, really did a good job. That pretty much, I think, covers it. Thank you.
now like to call forward Mr. Congar, Anuj's father, to provide us with his reflections on how scouting has had an impact on Anuj.
So first of all, I would like to thank everybody who was able to join and come over here, our 234 members, Satin Lodge members, family and friends. I know it's Saturday, it's really thankful for all of you who were able to come and join us. I would like to share some of the thoughts that come to my mind at this moment standing over here on Anuj's journey of how he went through, and probably one or two incidents I would like to get into the details. So Anuj and I, we started the journey in 2008. So 2008 was a time where I wanted to specifically get into this Boy Scouting program, but I was not sure whether that's the right program for Anuj and for us. And one of the primary reasons on that was from a religion and perspective and our belief perspective, we strongly believe we should be vegetarian, and we're not sure when he goes out for camping and all the activities, will he be able to follow it or not. So, and then the other thing was, we didn't have any family friends who had part of Eagle Scouts, and so we were not sure. But I strongly believe that the value of Boy Scouts was truly that I would like to pursue. Not knowing anybody, I just looked up the phone, called the commissioner district, finally get into Part2. And I'm really thankful that I was able to be part of Gen Leads with Mr. Hertzberg, and he was very helpful and guided us, especially Anuj, and was able to tell us and be there at all times. So that was the great point for us. And in 2011, we joined the Troop 234. And immediately joining Troop 234, Anuj wanted to go for a hike, and that was a half-dome hike. And I believe we had 4 students or 4 Boy Scouts who were going, and Anuj was the only young scout at that time. And talking to his friends and all the stuff, they all said that, hey, this is a dangerous hike. You really want to do it. And to the extent that he got scared and came and told me, Dad, I think I should not do it. I might die. So hearing that, I was like, I consolidated him saying, dude, I'll be there with you, especially on the last hike where you will need help, and we'll do whatever's needed. So back in my mind, I was afraid and I was scared too, because I had not done this hike too. So what I did was, I went to the store and got a harness for him and made sure that, okay, he is safe now. And then that way, at least, he can climb up and we should be fine. And then we went down, things went down, and we had like 4 scouts went in, and the way it turned out was myself, Robert, and Anuj were supposed to go, and then other scouts went ahead. And when the time came to go down to the final hike after on the half dome, I removed my backpack and said, hey, where's harness? And to the shock of my life, harness was in the base camp. And I was like, oh my God, I am not sure what is going to happen next. Right? So I said, okay, I'm down, we'll make it happen. And then I said, Robert, you go first, and then you go in the middle, I'll be at the bottom, we'll make it happen. And then sure enough, we went up, and when we came down, first question that he told me is, Dad, when are we going next? I want to do the half one more time. I'm like, okay, glad that you were able to be pursuer and be able to take the risk taking and follow up and meet your goals, so that was good. Right, so I think there are such moments that really remind me of the scouting program, that how he is being able to pursue his dreams and be able to move forward. Also, at the scouting, as you have seen in the brochure, he has done his merit badges, around 46 merit badges if I remember he has earned so far. And the rank advancements, I think that's one thing I would like to talk to all the new scouts over here. He was able to get his first class rank in one first year. The very first year he completed all his ranks, which is very challenging, but with this goal of getting merit badges done and be able to get it done, he was able to pursue it. And I think that helped him to move faster and was able to get to his Eagle eventually in 2016. So after that, he has also been part of Sackling Lodge. In the Sackling Lodge, and as part of the Vocus chapter, he had a couple of positions he has held in both the areas, and I think in Sackling Lodge he still is handling the vice chief of communication position. So he's been trying to continue his journey of scouting, and I'm hoping that all of the work that he has learned, he can share with other scouts and be able to work upon it and make sure that it is something which he cherishes from. And the last thing I would like to talk about is this year Anuj also got, as part of the OA, the highest rank, the highest honor, the Vigil honor, as a part of a tap out. So he's still going to get the official honor rank later on, but he was able to get it. And Vigil honor is something which is very, I would say, honor which is the highest honor from a way perspective, as well as it's something which you need, others need to look towards for you, and you need to be, they need to think that you are eligible. It's not something you can work on it that I'll do this 5 things and I'll get to Vigil. No, it doesn't work that way. Right? So for the folks who are aware about it, this is a very prestigious honor, and I'm happy that he was able to get it done this year. And that's pretty much I would like to share with everyone. So thank you very much. Good job.
Now it's time for us to finally hear what Anuj has to say about his scouting experience. Anuj, will you please come forward and share your thoughts?
So like my dad, I would also like to thank all of you for coming here to celebrate this joyous occasion with me. It's been a goal of mine from ever since I first got into scouting to become an Eagle Scout. And like Mr. Sword said, I first got into scouting when I was a Bear Scout when I was 8 years old. And I joined PAC, and I was part of PAC 281, Den 1, and Mr. Hertzberg was my den leader. And together, Mr. Hertzberg taught me well, in Cub Scouts, I began to experience the wonders of scouting. I learned how to camp, tie basic knots, use a pocket knife, and so much more in Cub Scouts. Then in 2011, I joined Troop 234 with Keith and Cooper. In Boy Scouts, I further advanced my knowledge in camping knots, first aid, and building fires, and orienteering map and compass. But most importantly, I think the skill I learned the most was leadership. Becoming an Eagle Scout has taught me that leadership is so much more than shouting out random orders. It's the ability to lead a group effectively in order to complete a task. I also learned that leadership has many different forms, and I learned that firsthand when I became a patrol leader. Oftentimes, I found myself with my patrol in total disarray. People weren't listening to me. I would just yell, and nothing would happen. And it was only until I became fully committed into really trying to lead my patrol was I able to become a strong leader. However, I think the most important takeaway from Boy Scouts is the lasting friendships that you make. I made a lot of friendships with the troop. I'm good friends with Keith and a lot of other people here. Since I'm in the OA, I also made a lot of connections through the OA. And being in scouting, you're forced to be in contact with a lot of people with similar interests. And I think that's really cool. And I have made friendships which I hope will last forever. So now I want to transition into thanking the people who have made my journey possible. So first, I want to hand out my first mentor pin to Mr. B. I first knew Mr. B since 2011 when I joined Troop 234. And like Mr. B said, he called me tenacious, and I would also like to call Mr. B tenacious as well. He's one of the most fiercest competitors there is, especially in softball. Besides me, I don't think I've met a more aggressive person in my life. Sports and softball. But seriously, thank you for your help and guidance along the way, and making the extra effort to help me advance through the first class rank within a year, and eventually towards Eagle. You have taught me what it means to be a good scout and showed what true scout spirit really means. Mr. B. Right, so my next, I want to give my next pin to Mr. Andy, and I know Mr. Andy couldn't make it here today, but I would like to share with you what his impact has really meant to me. Mr. Andy was first committee chair when I first joined the troop, and he taught me basic cooking and camping skills when I was a 10th Scout. I remember one of my first campouts was Yosemite, and I saw him in the shorts, and I was pretty much inspired that like he could pretty much outlast the cold, and he was one of the toughest guys I knew, and he was kind of mean to me at first. At first I didn't like him, but now I think my views changed. He was instrumental in helping me complete my Eagle project. He was, well, for those of you who do not know, he was my Eagle project mentor, and pretty much he walked me through all the steps into my Eagle project. I think my Eagle project was pretty complicated, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I'm glad I had Mr. Andy because he taught me, or he told me what to do and how to complete it. Together we spent a lot of time planning, which really proved beneficial as I was able to complete my project in one day. And he also brought extra help for me. I think his name is Antonio, and he was also very, very helpful on the work day. So now I would like to go to my next mentor, that's Mr. Hertzberg. And I've known Mr. Hertzberg since I was 8 years old. I joined N1 of Part2 and he was my den leader. And he first introduced me to scouting. He taught me basic scouting skills like whittling, cooking, and camping. And when I bridged into Boy Scouts in 2011, he continued to help me become a better Boy Scout. He always made sure that I went to every single camp out because he always drove me to each and every camp out, whether it was a troop camp out or an OA camp out. I knew I could always count on him if I ever needed to ride to any event. Like every event he gave me a ride. It's pretty insane. He also made sure that I was properly fed at every camp out. Like my dad said, I'm a pretty strict vegetarian, and food at many campouts kind of sucks, and it's always like an inconvenience to people when they have to cook extra food. But Mr. Herzberg was always willing to do it for me. And I remember there was this, at 2014 OA Conclave, there was like little to no vegetarian food, and the food in general just sucked. So Mr. Herzberg drove to the nearest city and bought us all pizza. And he also helped me a lot with my Eagle project. When it was looking like I couldn't complete the Eagle project, he encouraged me and guided me during the planning phase. I knew I could always count on him if I had any questions or concerns, and he was available at all times. So Mr. Herzberg, thank you for all that you've done to me to help me become an Eagle Scout and making my scouting experience fun and enjoyable. I would not have completed my Eagle rank without your help. Now I would like to thank the most important person who has helped me on my journey, my dad. Without his help, I would have never became an Eagle Scout. And like he said, like Mr. Herzberg said, he pushed me very aggressively through all the ranks at what I thought was an absurd pace. He even pushed me to complete my Eagle project, even though I had a couple of years left until I turned 18. And like he said, I know he was always there to support me whenever I had questions or whenever I was feeling lost or just kind of lost my way. I knew I could always count on my dad. He would always guide me to the path. Like what he said on Half Film, he was there to support me, and I I probably would have dropped out of the half dome hike if it wasn't for him. And thankfully, he was able to convince me not to do that. And now I find out that the half dome hike was one of the most fun experiences of my life. And this is one example of his perseverance and determination towards making me where I am today. So now, thank you for all your support and guidance along the way. Your hard work and determination to see me succeed really means a lot to me.
All right, I would now like to call up Mr. Bob Barrowman once again to give us his thoughts for a Scoutmaster minute. A minute.
Okay, pretty much everything, a lot of times Scoutmasters have their minute and go over a lot of the expectations and everything, but I think pretty much everything's been said today in very good fashion. One of the things that I do want to talk about is the longevity of being an Eagle. It just so happened that yesterday I went out I'm an architect, so yesterday I went out and met a client, and we were talking about the job and everything, and he said, I'm just going to be in town until tomorrow, but I've got dinner tonight after our meeting. And he's just turned 50 years old. And we got talking, and he looked at the van, and I go, yeah, I got a scouting event tomorrow, I've got an Eagle card. Oh, really? You're in scouting? We got talking, and it turned out that the guys that he's going to the birthday party with are all Eagle Scouts that he was with up in Atherton. So it just shows that the camaraderie that these guys are going to have hopefully for many, many years through the rest of their lives shows that the way you are raised and what you do as an Eagle and stick with it all your lives, and you stay with the friends that you've met, you will have for the rest of your lives. And that's kind of what Eagle Scout's about. You want to teach what you're doing, you've been through the program, and hopefully you'll take the things that you learned and go into life and end up doing a good job and keeping the good activities that you have learned. So guys, when you get to Eagle, make sure that you keep it going, and hopefully we will be seeing Anuj through this next year so that he can teach the younger guys what you have learned. Another thing, I'm going over my minute, but another thing one scout was telling me, and Thomas, you'll like this one. We had Thomas come in when we were doing our JLT.
Wow. Today has truly been a special, special day. Thank you all for coming out and participating in this wonderful event and celebrating Anuj. Let's give one more round of applause for Anuj. Thank you again for attending today, and please remember to join us at the reception just right outside. Would the audience please stand at this time, and Ethan come forward.
Okay, the audience, please rise. Guys, ready? Bar guard, retrieve colors. Scout salute. Bar guard, return to rank.